Hi, guys. Welcome to Game Changers Voices of the Industry, a podcast where we talk to the people shaping how games are built, led, and scaled behind the scenes. Today's guest is someone who has worked at the highest levels of global game development and is now part of the bold new chapter for the Indian gaming ecosystem. Sidharth Singh is a studio head and product and design leader at Tara Gaming with experience across studios like EA, Tencent, and PUBG, and has contributed to games that together have crossed more than 500 million downloads. At Tara Gaming, Sidharth is helping build what aims to be one of India's truly homegrown AAA game studios, focused on creating premium PC and console experiences for a global audience. Today, we'll talk about Tara Gaming's vision, the age of Bharat, and what it really takes to build AAA games from India. Sidharth, welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Richard. Happy to be here.
Sidharth, you worked across global studios like EA, Tencent. So, looking back, what experiences from that journey, best prepared you to help build a full-scale AAA studio at Tara Gaming?
Yeah, to be honest, Richard, I've been very lucky in my career to having worked with companies like EA, Tencent, and in games like PUBG, right? So if you look at game dev, it's basically a process, right, where you have long production cycles, you have pipelines, leadership alignment, creative discipline at different points of the time, right? So these are the things which are picked in these studios because there's a reason why these studios have built such incredible games and have such a long history of success, right? So, having worked these studios, having understood and looked at these studios, how they function from inside, and being part of these teams, right, has allowed me a unique insight into how the production goes across games, which goes on for years at end, right, and how pipelines and workflows goes into making sure that we are able to deliver a strong game without wasting time and money, being efficient and effective at the same time. And along with these, what's also really important is, how the leadership and the creative team are aligned, right? Because when the production cycle is so long, right, and there it's going on for months and months, there's an alpha, beta, and everything going on, right? It's very easy to lose focus on the game that you're producing, and it's very easy for the teams to lose focus on the end product and or the end experience they want to give to the players, right? And what I've learned from these companies is how to be aligned, how to stay on the path of delivering what you have intended to, and what you started from the very beginning, right? And these learnings are basically helping me, and helping our team to basically build a triple A studio culture in India, right? When we talk about the studio culture, we're not just building a single game. We are trying to build a studio with a culture which is able to produce these AAA games, right? And that is where these learnings and these experiences have really helped us grow the studio to where it is right now.
Understood. So, like you said, Tara Gaming, it's positioning itself as India's first truly grown AAA studio, homegrown studio. So, what about this vision sort of convinced you that this was the right moment to build something at this scale from India?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that really convinced me was the strength of the founding team, right? I mean, if you look at our founders, right, we have Amish Tripathi. He's one of the very few writers who are basically, taking these Indian epics and created and retold them in a manner which is very in sync with the young audience, right? And people, and the books have been critically acclaimed, whether they have been commercially successful as well, right? So he has this knack of understanding these stories and retelling them in a way which is very in line with how the young people and think, right? So that is something that has been a big factor for me, along with Nurin About, who's our CEO, right? He has like decades of experience with AAA production, and he has made multiple successful AAA games, right? So having these people on board from the very beginning, and giving us the insight, giving us the way forward, has been quite helpful. And last but not the least, I mean, what can we say about Shri Amitabh Bachchan, right? And Mr. Bachchan brings in, along with his own creative insight, with his own experience about the Indian market, about the global market as such, right? And he has been instrumental in helping us to build the game that we are building right now. So the founding team itself has been a huge motivation for me to to join the team at the very beginning and start building this game, this studio, right? And along with that, also the motivation came about, telling our story. So we all have been gamers for years at the end, right? And we have played so many games from different regions, different cultures, right? And there's always been an itch inside to, tell our stories, because our stories are so epic and awesome, right? And we want these stories to be, spread across the world for people to know about the Indian culture, about the Indian stories and history, right? And
Definitely.
that has been an itch which has been always there, right? So yeah, so along with the founding team, the motivation and the stream of taking the Indian stories to the global audience has always been a big factor.
Very nice. Definitely. It sounds so promising already. I'm very excited about it. So, Siddharth, India, it has traditionally been seen as a mobile first gaming market, right? So, why did Tara Gaming choose to focus on PC and console AAA development instead of just like following the more established mobile path?
Mhm. If you've seen our game, right? I mean, if you've seen the trailer, right? The trailer, the game itself has such a big scope, right? And the story is so awesome. We thought that the mobile platform will not do justice to what we are trying to build, right? With the kind of visual fidelity we want, with the capability that PC and consoles provide us, right? To the kind of technology that they have, to which allows us to tell the stories in a way which can be the build a game in a way that is true to the story form, right? We didn't want to compromise on the vision. We didn't want to compromise on the story. We didn't want to compromise on the experience we want to give, right? Because this is the first time from India, anybody is building a game of this scale for the global audience, right? Obviously, the Indian audience is very important for us, but we are building this game also for the global audience, right? So we wanted to make sure that we choose a platform which allows us to tell the story and to present the vision that we had earlier, right? Without any compromises. And that's where we felt that the technology and the capability of PC and consoles are very well suited for us to deliver that experience that we had promised on.
Makes sense. AAA development requires like hundreds of specialized professionals and long production cycles. So, how is Tara Gaming building the teams, the pipelines, and also the discipline like needed to meet that quality of globally AAA standards?
Yeah, I mean, very rightly said, right? I mean, AAA is a completely different beast altogether, right? Given its long production cycles, and that is where building the team brick by brick, having a top-down approach, getting your leadership team in place is very important, right? Because the way we look at it is right. Mobile has given the platform, right? Mobile has given us people who understand the technology, right? But to build AAA, you need it comes with longer production cycles, right? It requires a different kind of mindset. So having the right kind of people in the leadership roles, which are able to mentor people who are joining our team, able to tell them what really requires or goes into building a AAA game is very has been very important for us, right? So building the leadership team first, hiring the right people at the right roles, right? And along with that, when you hire these people, right, who come with their own experiences of building such big games at scale, right, having those right processes and workflows and pipelines defined helps us to deliver the results, right? Because at the end of the day, the team is only as good as the system that is being put in place to which allows them to produce the results, right? So having these right pipelines, workflows in place from the leadership team itself has gone a long way to help us to start delivering on day one itself. Whenever a new person joins our team, right, they already know what they have to work on. They already know what are the things they need to deliver and what are the workflows or what is the team they're going to work in, right? So having these systems in place at the very beginning has helped us a lot, because it's a long marathon that we are running, right? When you talk about AAA, it goes years and years into production, right? And to deliver on such a long production cycle which goes through multiple phases, it's very important that you have the right systems in place which allows people to come in and start delivering as efficiently as possible from day one itself.
Got it. Yeah. Like you said, like the leadership team plus the vision and then the planning comes into action. All of that definitely makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Also, the Age of Bharat, it's deeply rooted in Indian mythology, and while being built, it's built for a global audience, like you said. So, what core principles are guiding the team when they're translating culturally significant stories into a modern AAA game?
Yeah, so if you look at the Indian epics, right, and the Indian stories, right, they blend very easily into gaming, right. You have in our culture, we have concepts like karma, dharma, rebirth. Uh, these are the concepts which you see in gaming all the time, right? You have the right karma, you do the right moral things, which is dharma, right, and then you die and you take rebirth, right? So a lot of our nuances from our Indian epics, right, they blend very easily into gaming, right? And as I mentioned, right, Amish Tripathi coming in, right, and he's writing the story of the game, and which has been able to, we have been able to retell the Indian epics in a way which is very in sync with what the global audience likes, right? And being true to the culture while retelling these stories in a way that carries the right moral pillars intact, right, has been very important. So, if you talk about the Indian culture, the Indian epics, right, they are very, as I mentioned, they are like game ready, right? You have your asuras, you have your gods, you have your prototypes mentioned ready over there, right? So you just have to make sure that you are able to put them in the game format in a very respectful manner, in a way that is aligned with what the global audience is also, used to seeing in multiple games. And that's where we think that, Indian epics, the story, the mythology, they are like very uniquely suited for the gaming audience as such.
Got it. Amazing. If I may ask, if without revealing too much, what is it that
Mm.
excites you the most about, how players are going to experience what you're building?
The sheer scope of the game, right? The story and the level of immersion that we are trying to build in this, right, is going to be epic. Not never have been seen before from a company in India, and not only from just visually, right, also emotionally. The kind of story we're building, the kind of moral choices that's going to be there, right? So, for if you look at our Indian epics, right, moral ambiguity has always been a part of these epics, these stories, right? Whether the protagonist, there have been many stories that we have seen and that we have heard, where it's very difficult to say that the protagonist made the right choice. There are always going to be debate on if the hero did the right thing or not, or could he have taken a different path. And these are the choices that we want to build into our game, which allows the players to think and also experience the ambiguity those protagonists might have gone through at that point of time, right? So that has been something which is really exciting for me, along with obviously the gameplay elements and the game that we are building. The sheer scope of the game is something which is truly in line with what people expect from an actual AAA game.
Right, right, right. Definitely. The trailer looks amazing and very promising. Like one of Tara Gaming's stated goals is, to help build a sustainable AAA talent ecosystem in India, right?
Mhm.
So, what has been the biggest challenge so far in developing AAA ready talent locally?
So, so technically wise, yeah, our developers are really good, right? Technically wise, our artists are very good. They know that they know their art, they know their tools, they have the skills, right? What has been specifically important for us, because a lot of people are coming from the mobile background, right, where the production cycle is generally like 6 months, 4 months, even at the most eight, nine, or year, right? So having that mindset of having the patience, right, that you are building a game which is going to take years at end to produce to complete, right?
Yeah,
Having that vision of being patient enough while being creatively aligned, understanding that there are going to be multiple phases, right? For example, there's going to be an alpha, there's going to be a beta, and each phase has its own challenges.
yeah,
So having that end goal in mind while being creatively aligned throughout the way is something that people are getting used to, because they
right.
have not really experienced that multiple times, right? And that is a biggest challenge, right? And also something that I often tell my team in this, that AAA games are built by AAA teams, right? And AAA teams are being made not from just skill, but also having this end player approach, always thinking about the player. Whatever art you're making, whatever code you're writing, whatever design you're thinking, right? Think from the player perspective of how that is going to be liked by the player, whether they are going to is it in alignment with the team that you're building, is it in sync with the experience you want to give to the player, right? So having that approach, always thinking about the player in whatever you do, is something that is very important, and we keep on trying to imbibe that in the team, and the team has responded very positively to that.
Got it. Yeah, because of the long cycles, also for them to be continuously motivated at the same level is also something like, it always comes from the.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, because every phase has its own challenges, right? An alpha is very different than a beta, very different than a gold master, right? So every phase has its own challenges where you are trying to figure out some piece of the puzzle and trying to move along the way while still building the game that you have initially started. Because we have seen it time and again, right? You start building something and you end up building something else.
So, how important are like modern technologies like Unreal Engine 5 and cinematic production pipelines to Tara Gaming's long-term ambitions? And what mindset shifts do teams sort of need when moving into a AAA production?
Yeah, so I mean the tools are like very important, right? Whether it's Unreal Engine, whether it's motion capture, or the cinematic pipeline that we're building, these are very important. But at the end of the day, these are just tools, right? These are just uh, things that we use to produce, right? What is really important is the people who are using these tools, right? And that is where the main differentiation comes, right? Because anybody can use Unreal, anybody can get their hands on motion capture, right? But how you intend to implement it is where this end player goal is comes in place, right? Where you're thinking about the player, you're thinking about how this is going to impact my the experience I want to give to the player, right? That is very important. And once you have that alignment, once you know what you're building and the kind of experience you want to give to the players, the tools are already there, right? The tools are good enough to produce that kind of experiences. And when it comes to Tara Gaming's long-term ambition, I mean, as I mentioned, right, we are not here just to build a single game. We are here to build a studio. We're here to build a culture, right? And which is where getting to know these tools, understanding the ins and out of them, what these are capable, what are the capabilities, right? What they can achieve and what they can't achieve is also very important because unless you know that, it's very difficult to plan a game. It's very difficult to plan the production of a game. So having those insights is also very important. So yeah, I mean, to sum it up, the tools are very important, but what's really more important in the tools is the people who are behind those tools, right? How they are using them to achieve what they want to achieve.
And if the Age of Bharat succeeds, how do you think that changes global confidence from publishers, investors, and also players, like in sort of India's ability to build AAA games?
Yeah, it shifts the perception to possibility, right? I mean, right now, if you talk about, if you go anywhere in the world and you talk about the Indian ecosystem, development ecosystem, they talk mostly about mobile, right? We don't really talk about AAA games being made in India. Once we are able to deliver something which is a success, which people adore and they like to play and they're talking good things about it, right? The perception shifts, right? That it's possible, and then it shifts from possibility to repeatability, right? If it has been done once, it can be done again. We have the ecosystem, we have the talent in house. It's just a change in mindset of taking more risk, right? In terms of trying to achieve what has not been done before is the challenge right now. But I'm very sure that we have the technical skill set or capability to achieve that. It's just a change in mindset which is going to produce the results. And once those results are produced and it's there for everybody to see, the perception is going to change, right? And it's going to bring more investor confidence or publisher confidence in the ecosystem itself to repeat the process or deliver more of what we have right now delivering.
Like looking ahead 5 to 10 years from now, what does success look like for Tara Gaming? Like you said, you're here to not just build one game, but a studio and an ecosystem. So, what is it that you have in mind going the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so what we really want to build is a team which is able to we want to build a team and a system, right, which is able to deliver things on its own, which is able to it's we are like looking to build an engine, right, which basically has a lot of moving components, right? And these moving components should work so efficiently that even if you replace a spare part, right, it doesn't stop, right? So that is where systems, pipeline, workflows, having the right approach is very important, right? Because as I mentioned, right, we are building this game, but along the game, we are also building a studio. We are also building the culture of AAA gaming, right? So success for us looks like creating this studio, this moving some of lot of moving pieces, right, which can move along the way in such a way that things keep on going on an autopilot kind of a thing, right? Where you can just come in and fix certain things, right? But you are able to the whole engine is moving such a way that you are able to keep on producing good games one after the other, right? And that can only be possible if you have the right systems in place, if you have the right pipelines, the workflows defined, and you have the right approach towards building things. So that I think is the biggest challenge for us, and that's where a lot of our energy is going into.
Understood. And like, what kind of talent or skill sets do you see that would become more relevant and more critical for something like this, like your vision to be fulfilled?
Yeah, so in terms of talent, I think what's really important is the ability to go deep, right? Because as a if you like for example, if you talk about Unreal, right? Unreal is an engine. Anybody can learn Unreal or start getting into Unreal in the first 10, 15, 20 days, right?
Right.
But understanding Unreal and understanding exactly what the engine is capable of, right? That can only come through a lot of iteration. That can only come through once you have gone through the you have made multiple games, you have made multiple prototypes, you have looked at every nook and corner of the engine and try to understand what it can produce and what it can't produce, where it's good at and what are its capabilities and what are its limitations, right? So whether you are a gameplay programmer, whether you are an AI programmer, whether you are a 3D animator, right? Getting deep into your skill in your work and understanding the finer nuances, that takes many years, right? But that also comes through your mindset, whether you want to scratch the surface or you want to go in deep, right? so
Right.
so I think what differentiates between a really good developer than an average one is somebody who is able to who wants to find out more, who wants to keep on digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's where they understand, and that's where they discover what are their true strengths and how they can basically deliver the best thing that they want to build.
Got it. So it's basically like always being curious and wanting to learn even on floor. Like it's
Yeah,
keep
absolutely. I
learning.
mean, yeah, you get one task, you have done this task, right? And then you also think, how could I done it better?
Yeah.
What are the things I could have changed in this, right? So that tomorrow when you get a similar task, you already have this learning from your previous one, which will enable you to deliver it in a better way, faster, or maybe the code is more clean, right? So that can only come with this mindset where you want to better yourself, right? Where you want to dig in deeper into your own thing.
Got it. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. And one last question. I'd love to know your thoughts, Siddharth. Do you think Indian players are ready today for this premium narrative-driven AAA kind of game, or is it also part of Tara's role to help shape that audience as well?
Yeah, I'm sure we have a lot of see. If you talk about Indian market, right? The Indian market itself is so big that even a small percentage of this is like as big as Finland, for example, right? So the market is always there. There's always because if you look at a trailer, right? A trailer is one of the highest viewed trailers from India in terms of gaming, right? And it has been universally acclaimed. A lot of YouTubers like Asmongold, they have featured our trailer in their videos, right? So talking and we you can see from the comments, right? People are really appreciative of what we're building. So we believe that the market is there, right? When it comes to this kind of an experience, has it been done before? No. But do Indian players play AAA? I mean, obviously, yes. I mean, I have been a AAA gamer for all my life, right? And almost 90%, 95% of people who are working in our studio, they all play AAA games. I mean, we have our gaming sessions in the studio itself, right? So,
Right.
are there players in India who look forward to such an experience with a narrative driven and stuff like that? Yes, there are. Is that as big as a percentage as compared to the European audience? Maybe not. But even a smaller percentage of such a big market like India is still a sizable amount of people, right? And that's what we're looking at.
Got it. All right. Siddharth, thank you so much for sharing such a thoughtful and grounded look into what you're doing and what it really takes to build AAA games from India. We are
Sure,
very
Richa.
excited to follow Tara Gaming's journey and see how Age of Bharat shapes, and what comes next. So thank you for joining us today on Game Changers. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Richa. And I would like to take this opportunity to tell the audience that we keep on coming up with announcements on our LinkedIn page, on our Twitter page, right? So you can find the social media channels on our website, taragaming.com. And please follow us whenever you can so that you can keep on getting the updates.
All right.
And thank you so much, Richa and the team for having me here. It's a
Thank
pleasure.